Well then, we left off. We left off in the ossuary with Selene, and for some dramatic flair, as we kind of have a fade to black with Selene here in the revealer, you're going to hear a crack-a-boom of thunder outside, which will help immerse Coffee Cat, because that's an IRL thing. However, I would like this to happen anyway for, if it didn't get through, that water might have an interesting effect on the tower. We're going to find out for sure. Now, we are going to rewind time. As Selene, you're ahead of everyone else. That's what happens when you're on cruise control for cool, by helping people out and generally being, at least a halfway decent person. So we still need to catch up Bright and Mordecai. So we're going to go back to you two. Pardon. And I mean, if you want to, we can go back and you can do this, bit by bit. It's up to you. There's no pressure. We actually have a little bit of extended time tonight. If any of you did want to play extended, you all have certainly put a second wind in me, because today was it was a good day, but it was just it was one of those days. But now being with you all, hearing your voices, it really energizes me, and I really do get that. Yeah, we're doing this, and I'm absolutely ecstatic and having fun. Anyway. So let's go back to the scene of the crime, with inquisitive Bright and her faithful assistant, Mordecai here.
You're the assistant.
The lovely
I always
assistant.
kind of have been, yeah.
I mean, if anyone's gonna wear like a sequined suit or something, and perhaps a marvelous top hat, it's gonna be Mordecai.
I had costumes at one point.
Although, to be fair, Bright, if you want to be the thing like being pulled out of the hat, you're welcome to. So anyway,
if it was a big enough hat, it would probably work.
So you have a gnome-sized bag of oats. You have left. Oh, you also had the bonus thrown in of a bag of random parts. So whatever. There's probably like a little spring in there, kind of a metal triangular piece, a little like a glass bead or something, and just kind of miscellaneous stuff. Unfortunately, not a copper wire, but what can you do? Anyway, so you have this. We're coming back to you, and what are you doing now?
I'm rearranging windows. Just a minute.
Okay.
I do this in advance, but I had a problem, and I had to reload, and now I have to do it again.
Unfortunately, Bright's divination pearl's giving her a 404 error here, which is magic code. So Mordecai.
Now it's better now.
Oh, it's better now. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think we've finished everything there was to finish with this tower. Do you have any sense of whether you think it's lantern thing or the lighthouse thing? Is that what this is supposed to be, or is that like some sort of password? Could get in there, because it seems like it dispels magic, and I don't want it to dispel you, or me for that matter.
Yeah.
Very polite of you.
Dispelling magic seems like a bad idea. You tried sending a thing up there to go look at it, right?
I sent my little eye up there, and it got dispelled.
So if I were to shoot like a guiding bolt up there, it probably would do the same.
Yeah, I mean, you could try that. I mean,
Could do that. I'm kind of low on.
I'm even afraid to send Peggy Sue, because she's a little magical, and I don't want her to turn back into a regular cricket.
Yeah. Like that. I don't have any dispel magic ability. Otherwise, I'd try to just like poof all the fire out.
No, that probably wouldn't work anyway. I think we need to find just the right place to target something like that, which I also can't do. It's usually a Selene thing. Maybe we could
get her.
It's so far.
That's true.
Yeah, you got to remember, Bright's taken like 3 or 4 steps for every one of yours, Mordecai.
It's true.
don't really have anything more that I could possibly
Okay.
try. I mean,
Well,
I can.
Do you
I'm gonna-
remember? You remember how to say the magic words in Draconic, right? It's like look, and then there's also
Yeah, I think
yeah.
so.
So maybe we can beat around a little more, and maybe we can get another one of those little, and uh, and if not,
That would be
then
ideal.
maybe we can just investigate and see if we can figure out if it's like actually trying to attract anything.
Matty, have I ever heard stories about black, red, and yellow flames like this?
Tell you what, roll a history at disadvantage.
Okie dokie.
You said with advantage, right?
Least knowledgeable bard ever.
So you had an idea and you said, no, that wasn't it. I tried to think, but nothing happened. So Mordecai, you're like, yeah, I got nothing. There's all kinds of fantastic tales. So things that would be, things that would be, not black fire, but I don't know. Someone's described like there's a song that was about someone's great love burning like fire. No, that wasn't it. And there's nothing that you are recalling that really lines up.
I was thinking more along the lines of, have I heard anything abyssal or infernal in that regard? Hellish or anything?
No. I mean the possibilities, because tieflings had to come from somewhere, but there's not necessarily an affiliation with, with black fire or anything. Maybe the closest connection that you could make without, I mean, you haven't heard a story, but with thaumaturgy, it's native to you as a tiefling. Thaumaturgy does change the color of flames. Now, what you're seeing is more than a candle, or the small little bits of flame that a thaumaturgy spell could create. Is it possible then that this is, the work of a great thaumaturgy? Sure. That's the beautiful part of being a storyteller, is anything is possible, which is also probably frustrating when you're trying to come up with facts or find definitive. I can entertain that. Well, that's great that you can entertain it, but I want to know what's going on. It's probably this. You use that P word.
I do not think it means what you think it means.
Mordecai, this could be. It could be it's attracting tieflings. Tieflings do have this innate ability to modify fire, cosmetically. Now, thaumaturgy obviously doesn't snuff out magical effects if you trust Bright. But I mean, if you trust her as far as you can throw her, then I mean, even with your strength, you should get a good distance in.
I want to try with thaumaturgy to take a bit of the flames and dim it. See if I can do that.
Okay.
See what happens. See if I can quell a little bit of that fire. If at all, probably not.
Roll a generic spell casting check. So for you, it's charisma. So just roll a charisma check.
Proficient or not?
Let's just have this be straight up. That this isn't
Straight
severely punishing or overtly rewarding. This is just a check. Okay. So you go up and you're looking and you have this experiment and kind of you give it that snap, and maybe it worked. It's kind of difficult to tell. I mean, the fire by itself is very fickle, and you're dealing with a great amount of it. As well, your proximity here is kind of distracting. but at the same time, you know, Bright described, like, she felt her, well, hopefully not her actual eyeball popping, but she felt her arcane eye pop when it got close. Like, your thaumaturgy didn't not work. How about that? Your thaumaturgy didn't not work. At the same time, it didn't have an overt effect.
So, we've determined it's magical flame, not an illusion. Right?
We haven't actually proven that it's not an illusion, but I don't think it's an illusion.
Suddenly, with those
If
magic
anyone
words, the
is-
illusion goes away.
Yay!
The answer was
We
within you the whole
solved
time.
puzzle.
Well, if there's anyone to test whether or not it's an illusion, it'll be me. And I just want to brush my hand against some of the flames.
Sure. So I need you to make a charisma saving throw, please. Oh, you're a bard. Whatever. Pff, what am I asking?
Yeah, I was afraid of this.
Okay. So Mordecai, for a moment in your mind, you see roiling like the flames become emotional passion, and just your body just like you get this surge, this energy, this something that's absolutely invigorating, and also it hurts. There we go. I can type, I swear.
Is that fire damage?
This is psychic damage.
Psychic. Right.
Now, it burns like fire. You probably wish it were fire. However, as it burns through you, this is an emotional, like, jolt. It'd be a fire or an electricity, except as we're talking on a mental level. This is why it's psychic. So 29. Well, actually, I'm sorry. You had a charisma save. It's half of that.
Half that.
Yeah. As you're able to very quickly, like, shake out of it, like you shake you pull your hand back to shake your head, and as you do so, you withdraw your hand from the fire before an extra half of that damage applies to you, conveniently enough. And so you snap out of it real quick, but you just got this something.
Oh, that was weird.
So, what was that like? And why
Did
would
it.
you do that?
Because nothing else was working.
Oh, Bright, real quick, make a perception while this is happening, because you're inquisitive. You're watching Mordecai interact with this thing. It could be an illusion.
Perception.
Hey.
17.
All right. While this happened, obviously Mordecai has fangs. You're very well aware of that. So as you go, the fangs are bared, and you see not fire reflected in his eyes, but that fire just almost burns within his eyes, and then he withdraws his hand and kind of shakes out of it, and then he goes back to having his creepy human eyes. Ugh. Pupils? Ugh. Forget about it.
Okay.
That hurt.
So, I mean, you didn't try the calm emotions first.
I'm running a little low on juice. I didn't want to try and do that just yet. I wanted to
Okay.
figure out what it would do.
It's not good.
No, not at all.
So, I don't know what to do.
And
Have we seen anyone that isn't a tiefling actually go inside the perimeter?
no, in fact, as this is happening, there is a law enforcement officer that's coming up in your direction. Hey, excuse me, sir, please step away from the flames. We need everyone back, and especially tieflings. we've been having some problems. We're not sure what the nature of this is yet, but it's having. Do you need medical attention? Why did you touch the? Oh my! This guy's going on. He's definitely had a stressful day.
We're also trying to help with the investigation, so any information you have, that would be wonderful.
Who are you? Where's your badge?
My name's Mordecai. I don't have a badge. I am simply a person who is assisting.
You could greatly assist us by standing way over there.
We're arcane practitioners. We probably know more about magic than you do.
I'm going to try to hide while he's distracted by Mordecai.
Sure.
Oh.
Hey, where do you think you're...
That's
You!
in hide.
Get out from behind that rock. Come on. Look, I don't want to have to throw you in jail. You don't want to have to be thrown in jail. Let's just save a lot of time. Just go scoot over there. Let the authorities take over. If you come back and you have paperwork, then so be it. You got paperwork. Right now, I have a job to do, and you're interfering with my job. It's to keep people away.
It's like we're actually helping you do your job, because if we weren't here, there wouldn't be anything for you to do.
Something that you should note, Mr. Investigator, is that it's painful to touch it, if you didn't know that already. So...
Touching fire is painful. Got it. I'll put that in my report. Thank you, Mordecai.
in a psychic way, not a fire way.
What race is this guy?
Human. I will make sure that my desk sergeant would love to hear about this, and I'm sure that he will tell the others, because we don't want people getting hurt, so that includes you two. Now, please, step away from the flaming wall.
Okay.
We're not gonna get anywhere anymore with this.
Oh, I'm gonna change the rules.
All right. Well, so dominate person, and I need to roll something. He's definitely a humanoid.
I think that's a wisdom save. Yeah, it's a wisdom save.
Wisdom save. Oh gosh. Yeah. No.
Okay. This is new. I've never operated a puppet before. So I'm going to need you to go ahead and just walk right into the fires, please.
Okay. Is that is ordered and can it do dangerous stuff, or the stuff that it perceives as being dangerous?
No, this is not suggestion. He's my puppet now.
This is the big one. All right then.
And I would definitely want to feel through that telepathic link to see what it feels like for him.
Okay.
Oh, Mo.
So you like he's pulled you out. He's like, "Come on, get going!" And you just look up at him and, "What are you kidding? I've actually been curious about this. Don't mind if I do." And he turns on his heel. Like, so yeah, Mordecai, you see Bright kind of, waggle her finger. Yeah, there's a somatic component. She waggles her finger. And this person who is just, dressing you down, just sort of turns on heel and disappears into the fire.
Okay, so what is he experiencing while that's happening?
You felt a brief moment of excruciating pain and agony on a level that goes beyond physical pain, down to one's mere existence, and then it stopped.
So he was
what? Your voice cut out.
So he was burned up in the fire?
Yeah, there's no guard left.
What
I
did
didn't
you
expect
do?
that. Well, I told him to go into the fire, and then he... Oh, no.
And there's other gawkers here, just sort of like...
You should probably leave.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
You just murdered the dude!
Technically, he did it on his own. Oh no.
Oh. Okay.
Oh no.
Let's go meet up with the others. I think.
And another one of the people here that's been patrolling, keeping others back, kind of runs up. What happened? What happened to him?
He went into the fire and he died.
What? Why what did he tell you? What happened? Oh, I gotta report this. Oh,
He went into the fire. Died.
I can see that. Oh, this is. Oh. Watch everyone! Like, he's yelling commands to other. Watch everyone! Can you go with me to the station? You were there. You're gonna have to give a report. I'm gonna I have to bring you in.
Look. We didn't have anything to do with this. We're just gonna leave.
You're gonna leave with me. You gotta report on what happened. You're witnesses. You were standing right there.
Nothing happened. He just walked into the fire and he incinerated.
Deception.
Can I use my inspiration for that?
Yes, you may.
I'll use my advantage.
Okay. Ooh, pardon.
Deception?
Yep.
23.
So not an 11. Look, I'm not accusing you, but you watched this happen. I even if this is a suicide, like, I mean, this is. I knew that things were hard up for his family. He was trying to save up for, a gift for his son's birthday. Oh my gosh, this is. Oh. It's rough on everyone. Look, I don't have the physical strength to halt. Not both of you. Maybe one of you. Preferably you, and he points to you, Bright. But... Oh, this is... What? No, you all stay back! And, and so the other people are... Like, there's more people that are sort of, on the perimeter of the block here. He bumbles around, finds a burnt, like a broken, like a. It wouldn't be burnt in that fashion, but from incidental burnings of like knocking over candles and oil lamps, sort of a thing. He finds like a little piece of like burnt wood, kind of breaks it off, and he's like, fine, if you're not going, then who are you?
Go.
Looks to you, Mordecai.
Just Mordecai.
He writes it on his hand and he closes it. Immediately, I mean, it's going to smudge, but fine. Follow me then. Come on. Are you coming with me, sir? No, that was a bad idea. You.
Yeah, I'll go.
So he and a couple other the peacekeepers here come up. He's like, I'm you can hear this, but I'm taking a man. They're gonna give a statement. I don't know what happened to him. And the other's like, oh, fine, and make sure no one else goes there. And there's just kind of a little hullabaloo that's happening here, and you all are taken to the nearest precinct. As we're going to cut over to Jacob, who is, you're in this area, but I'm going to go to sort of generic street in town because you're not at the jail. You're also not at the site of the explosion here. As people are making their way through, and you're going on a bit of a shopping trip because Miss Quum had asked for clothes that aren't bedraggled scraps of ocean-sodden, filthy garments. And go ahead.
We got a sketch coming.
Okay. Your beautiful Pygmalion is dressed in a fashion that she pleases, which ultimately is a fashion that you please as Macabre Derek, and you can explain as such as you go out and.
Well, it was mostly on the basis of trying to end up finding something that ended up having a certain degree of elegance to it, while I ended up managing to end up keeping her hair clothed to the point where we never had to worry about the sun. Thankfully, the sun umbrellas are in style right now. Strange on how that happens.
You're also told it's probably a double purpose. I think it's going to thunderstorm tonight, sir.
Fantastic. I would hate for the lady to ruin her hair by having to expose to water. Again.
When you mention that, my hair. I absolutely must have my hair done too. You wouldn't want me to be quass, would you?
He kind of just looks at her like, Just getting an idea of how she operates.
So she's having a grand time.
And I'm assuming we see something out the corner of our eye we weren't expecting to be seen.
We will. So yeah, I mean, you're out shopping for a while, and she's joyous. This is a free insight for you here. She's not trying to take advantage of the situation because, I mean, she doesn't know if you're wealthy or poor or whatever. But you're gonna have to come out of pocket for for the clothes that she's asking you for, and you're acquiescing for whatever standard of decency, coverage, or whatever. So that'll work within
we'll
your.
Go above and beyond, I assure you. But mostly on the basis of we don't need to end up having a feeling, well, cast aside. She is technically a castaway, Miss Crumb.
She does feel happy and free. She has the parasol. She has the outfit, and she does. She does that kind of almost like the singing in the. It's not raining yet, but she does the little singing in the rain. She hops on the lamppost and kind of does a once around on it, holding the parasol out, and she's. In this moment, this poor girl who has been so upset at her lot in life, everything that's happened, all the things that she has been very upset about experiencing in her life. At least for this moment, Jacob, you can savor the fact that she appears to be genuinely happy. So you are. As you're walking through town, what's your passive perception, Jacob?
That's a fantastic question. My passive perception, let me get my character sheet open, is 15.
Okay. So you didn't necessarily go too far from the precinct here, and you are going to see, again, the sun hasn't set, but, a little later, as they've been investigating and you've been shopping, you see Mordecai and Bright are following a law enforcement officer to the precinct. Maybe they're looking for you. Why else would they go to the police station?
Oh, I can imagine a few things. He looks at his notes on things that he may need to report later. But he ends up approaching. The funny thing is, you two, I would have suspected it was your third member who would have ended up approaching here. Officer?
We'll have you. Oh, okay. So yeah, so you're going to catch up, and so they're going to be in that waiting lobby, and of course the desk sergeant is still on call. So you're walking in as the officer is kind of talking, and the desk sergeant's kind of going. So it looks like they're there. They're waiting on a bench. They're not manacled.
Like I said, standards have been slipping. No discipline.
And Mordecai and Bright, investigator Jacob Stillwaters and company, walks in, and who's that with him? Oh, she has a parasol. She has a nice, like a what is it? A buttressed dress, kind of with the floofy hips or whatever.
I believe
Or
so.
whalebone or something like that. My old
Perhaps
cloth
made of
cover.
actual whalebone.
Possibly even. So anyway, as you take another look, this is the woman that was pulled from the ocean.
Okay. That's interesting.
And what would that be, Mr. Silverleaf?
That's just interesting.
Looks better.
Very.
And you two look a little worse for wear. What happened to your hand?
Yeah. I mean, there was a whole thing.
Okay. I'm sure I'm about to read a report on this.
We're about to
Stillwaters!
write one.
The sergeant calls across.
Sir!
Do me a favor. Take those two back to the interrogation room.
Right away, sir. He clicks his heels. Alright, you two. You heard the man.
Yeah, we'll go with you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Madame.
When we get there, I want to see what kind of, maybe, if there's any listening devices of any kind, mundane-wise, or holes or anything that people could be using to listen in.
There's a window that leads outside, and
Yeah.
the door has a crack underneath it. It's possible that people can put an ear to a wall or something along those lines.
All right.
Very well then.
We can
So-
talk privately in here, right?
As much as you care to. And literally he pulls out the seats for them both. In the
How
exact
polite.
same manner.
There we go.
Offers them a seat.
Too tall for me. Can I stand?
Oh, it's quite alright. This will be temporary, I'm sure. He starts. Alright. So, what brought you to the precinct? Hey, make sure he's on a fresh page.
There was an accident at the temple. One of the police officers, he came over, he saw that we were close to the fire, and he came over to ask us to stand farther back. Touched the fire and burned himself. And then we should the other side of the fire, and he should go in and look. And he died. So, well, Mordecai saw, and I saw too. But I didn't just see it, I felt it.
I believe you full-heartedly, Bright. I've never known gnomes to be a liar.
It's good, because that's completely true.
For everyone in the audience, that's a red 6 that has shown up behind chat.
Still, what were you doing near pressing in? I mean, you're not full-fledged investigators and civilians brought in past. I mean, after all, we have a great and powerful mage coming in to end up helping assist with the problem shortly.
He's not coming. He's dead. Doesn't anyone
He starts flipping
understand?
through his notes like as if he missed something. I have no reports or any mentions of it being. Keep that page for myself. There's no report on that.
Well, there is
that I've
now.
received. And how would you be aware of this?
Don't you understand?
No, that's why I'm asking.
Mage and the dragon, it's the same.
Mr. Oliver.
Right. He stands up immediately. Sir!
He's
Yes,
very
sir.
serious about his work.
Quite.
Didn't know his name. Yeah, we were standing near the fire.
Matty, you're muted.
Whoops.
I
Thank
don't
you for
understand
that
how
thing.
Matty is always muted.
There's a button I clicked if you're having a long interaction back and forth, so I don't like sneeze or interrupt it or something. That you might still be able to hear on the microphone, but they can't because I don't want to. I want them to have a clean presentation because you're right in my ears. Anyway. Oh, the man behind the curtain reveals. Anyway, so he came out and then what? He talked to you and then what?
Then I asked him the fire, and he did.
You asked him to go into the fire. And he did.
He did.
Now, when you say asked, what do you
Means
mean?
asked.
I ask
mean-
people to do a lot of things and they don't do it. Why would our officer listen to you? To do
Don't know.
something? Huh. All
Told
right.
him,
Well, I think I
go
need
in the
to...
fire.
Oh.
Was he a good officer? Good, or, on the take, anything like that?
No, not on the take.
He had a
Huh.
family?
Yeah, his kid was going to have a birthday sometime. He didn't want to be out here and all the disaster and the crush, was really worried about it, but he's
You have
loyal.
a-
He still showed up to the disaster site.
You have a fund?
No.
You do now.
But what I do have...
So I dump out my gold. Not much. I mean it is, but it isn't.
Let's
But it is
take care of that a little later. What I do have, though...
for his family.
He pulls out a little obelisk, a little stone obelisk with a crystal top to it. That's apparently key lime flavored. Anyway. And he sets it down on the table. Jacob, this is something, it's not super rare. This isn't artifact level stuff, but this is something called an honesty obelisk. Now, I'm going to give this a twist. And when he gives it a twist and he sets it down. Now, when I say the sky is blue, boop, the little crystal at the top is green. Now, when I say the sky is red, boop, it's red at the top of the obelisk. Now, I would like to make sure that this is working, of course. And he's gonna... it doesn't have to... he doesn't indicate it has to be close, but he kind of pushes it in your direction, Mordecai. color's the sky?
Blue.
Now, I want you to tell me that the sky is red. Right? The sky's red.
The sky is red.
It's red. Ah. Alright then. You, Stillwaters.
Sir,
What's your name?
my name is Investigator Jacob Stillwaters, sir.
It's green. Looks over. You were here earlier. How was she?
Surprisingly cordial.
It's green.
I'm sorry. Oh no.
Tell me you're from Oldport.
I'm from Oldport.
It's red. Okay. Slides it over to Bright. You met Patrolman Vares, correct?
You did, yeah?
Screen. When you spoke to Patrolman Vares, was there magic involved?
Yes.
Screen. And the sergeant and the patrolman in here are... What kind of magic?
The whole tower is a magical fire.
That statement's not false, as it's showing up. What did you cast on the patrolman?
I'm an 8 person.
It's green. And the other person is taking notes here as well. Now, I am not a practitioner of magic, but of course I've had to clean up my fair share of magical messes in my days. Would you let me know what that spell does, please?
Yeah, it I mean, it does what it sounds like. It allows you to force a person
Mm-hmm.
to ask them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Yeah. I think you're muted, Matty.
I shouldn't be. Hello? The
Oh,
music...
I think he was muted before.
I was muted before, yes.
Alright.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But if it does go out, let me know, because, I mean, I get into it. I don't see little bars wiggling sometimes, so... So you asked my patrolman to walk into the fire.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that.
Turns to the other patrolman and asks to go get a female officer. Stillwaters,
Sir,
will your manacles fit her?
he's actually doing the calculations in his head. Potentially. Not initially built for gnomes and halflings, so we don't end up dealing with a lot of those in Green Shield. But he pulls out one of his sets of manacles.
Placing under arrest for the murder of our patrolman. As an acting dispenser of justice from Green Shield here in Mask of Horns, I'm going to ask you to restrain this gnome, Investigator Stillwaters. I should have an officer on the way to take her and process her in an appropriate fashion.
Jacob walks behind Bright. And unless she tries to do anything, he's going to place her under arrest.
So, how far am I from the walls?
10 feet to the nearest wall.
10 feet to the nearest wall. Okay. Eyes are on me.
Unless Mordecai's looking away.
Okay. So, in that case, I didn't cast Misty Step.
Okay.
But poof outside the...
You did that before, didn't you?
I mean, I use Misty Step from time to time.
And
I don't think I've used it around you, though.
Nah.
I don't think he
believe it
saw it on the beach when you
Okay.
used it. I don't know if he did. Because I think you were fighting in the water at the time. Because Bright had run back to the seagrass hill.
Alright, then I'm not going to act like as if Jacob even considered that as a contingency. But so, you Misty Step out. So,
I'm going to do several more things now that I have a little bit of time on my hands. First, I'm going to disguise self on myself to turn into the little tiefling girl that I did before.
Okay.
I'm going to use your image. I'm going to create a false sprite.
Okay.
And then those are the two things.
Okay.
And the major image is going to teleport back into the...
Is going to what? I'm sorry? The
It's going
audio.
to poof back into the room.
Okay. So to leave the room, there was a window that led outside, as I was describing. So you would have had to have Misty stepped out the window. So I don't think it'd be anything that would be because you would have to teleport up at an angle and then fall down a little bit. So 5 bludgeoning damage as you fall from the teleport.
That I can do.
You cast your 2 spells, and then you're gonna have the illusion be projected back through the window. Okay. Do you have to maintain eye contact with the illusion to control it? Because you'd have a solid wall between where Bright is and the inside of this room.
You have to be within 120 feet of it.
Okay.
I can't see through it, but I'll have Peggy Sue.
Okay, so Peggy
And
Sue's
do
gonna
that.
hide on the windowsill.
Yeah.
Okay. Bright disappears out somewhere. I mean, you've Misty Step before, right, Mordecai? You have that spell or no?
I have Dimension
You have
Door,
Dimension Door. All right. Well, all right. So Bright disappears in a silvery flash. Is gone for a short while, and you know, like, so she disappears, and then the officer comes back with a female officer, and you all are standing there. Where'd she go?
There's the illusion right there, right?
Not yet. I'm doing this in segments. and then in illusory, well, as we know it as DM and players, Bright reappears back in the room.
What's...
I was going to run, but I accept what I did.
I have no idea as to what I am observing. But I respect you're here. I understand you have your guilt, and understand that the law is understanding in certain circumstances. So this will be a trying time as he tries to slip the manacles on an illusion.
Yeah, so how does the interaction with the illusion work for this spell that you cast?
That's a good question.
It's an illusion. They just fall right through.
Possibly. It seems completely real. You can't create sufficient heat or cold.
Physical interactions with the image reveal it to be an illusion because things can pass right through it.
Okay, so yeah, you go to apply the manacles as you walk up, giving that it'll be all right. Perhaps if you the wheels of justice, etc., so forth, and you just go to clamp them, and it passes through like bright, kind of like glitches or whatever. It's for a moment, like your hand like disappears inside her, but fortunately it doesn't come out coated in gore. Not like that one time. Ooh.
I mean, that would be fun.
Okay.
Immediately, he just puts his hand on Mordecai. He needs to confirm somebody in this room is real.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm real.
Well, isn't this just fantastic? Congratulations, Mordecai. You are now here, having to end up staying here indefinitely until we can end up acquiring Mrs.
What did I do?
At this point, you're a major witness in what appears to be a full confession to manslaughter, and you are now also witness to a prison escapee. I'm sorry to end up informing you that Bright's decision has now ended up becoming consequences for yourself. Miss Triddle will be now here sought out and placed under arrest. Why is it always the small ones?
I don't understand why I have to be detained.
You're a witness to all this, and the one goes back. We need mage hunters, and she runs down the corridor, and so I mean Jacob is addressing you, and the other one's just sort of like, you're being detained because a crime has been committed. We lost this gnome had one of our officers walk into the fire. You're a witness to this. Are you going to be detained peacefully, Mordecai?
Sure.
I place manacles. Oh, why do you guys make me do this?
This is... yay, I have it!
I'm coming for you next, Selene. What did I do? Well, let me get the list.
All right. So Mordecai, you are going to be processed into the jail and be held in a detention center. And during the processing, are you going to do anything that is going to fight the revelation that you are in fact a walking corpse with sharp teeth?
I don't plan on revealing that.
Okay, then they will reveal it for you. As your personal effects are taken, and you're given effectively a jail uniform, and they're
I'm
all...
a witness. I'm not an actual prisoner.
But they don't have time to end up asking you questions as we have a loose mage, so, and we got a city that's on fire.
Yes.
Kind of requires us to just kind of, we'll deal with him when we can.
Everything is in, like, panic mode. Everything is in, all right, just take care of it now. We're going to sort it later. You are processed like other people are processed.
Are you going to allow me a deception check to essentially create the D&D version of Blush of Life?
I don't think deception alone could cause that, because that would either be a magical manipulation, or that would be, you would actually need to...
Disguise, kid.
You'd need to actually get a little bit of blood in you to perhaps liven you up, because it's been... You haven't fed, actually, since... well, 2 days or so? The last time you nommed was, I think, before the... was actually during the Mr. Helver fight, or thereabouts. Because you had...
Not actively. I have not actively eaten.
Yeah, you had chaos magic for a while that faded.
Now that I have experience with another vampire,
Yes.
would it be likely that I might be able to piece together what Mordecai is ahead of time? Like, now that I have a sample to go off of and know what I'm seeing. Especially with the flushing and the, not being a raisin anymore, and watching Mordecai in that starting to prune state.
Make a... Well, I mean, the pruning was also just her being so waterlogged. I mean, it's like you take a bath for too long and you come out all wrinkly. Make us just a straight-up investigation here, because this is also a heat-of-the-moment situation. 11. It's not immediately coming to mind. You're not involved in Mordecai's, like, dressing down and whatever, in the processing here. So, and Mordecai has also been rather lively. So, yeah, at this point, then no, the connection hasn't been made to Jacob.
He's fooled me. Good enough.
So, while all this is going on, I would like to have Peggy Sue in Mordecai's hair. Sides in mine.
Okay. Your passive perception's at 25, Mordecai?
It is.
It's not supposed to be secret from Mordecai.
Oh, all right. Well,
I want her to be with him.
If it was, then yeah, Mordecai's definitely going to feel. So Mordecai, I guess, taking a step back as you are being escorted away, you feel something crawling through your hair. You feel free to crush it if you want. What is it?
If it stops moving, then I don't touch it.
If it's what? I'm sorry.
If it wriggles in and then stops moving, I have no desire to smush it because it's gone.
Apparently found its happy place on your scalp. Okay. So this is going to be the evening. So Mordecai, you're going to be in jail. Probably not your first time.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I've probably been detained a couple times before.
Probably have.
It's been 10 years, yes.
Hey, I did not expect Mordecai to go to jail. That was not the expectation.
I was drunk in the bar. You threw me into public. There we go. Mordecai tater salad silverleaf over here. Yeah. Y'all want to know where he got that tattoo of the teardrop, right?
I'm just remembering myself that Mordecai has always been expressed to be a very pretty man.
So, Mordecai, you are going to be in jail, at least overnight. And you are... You are in a communal cell. You don't get your one room, your one bed Hilton cell.
Do I see where they take my stuff?
No. They take your stuff, and I'll say it's in a room down this hallway, but there could be many rooms down that hallway. And you are put into a communal cell with a lot of other people that would be bruisers, thugs, ne'er-do-wells, people who look like they've had quite a really rough time of things. As you get the feeling after the discovery that was made, and you're not savagely attacking people, that, you know, if you went bonkers, these are probably people that wouldn't be missed. And so we almost have a flashback to the desert, where you were pushed into a circle of people that all are quite burly. It's been a little while since you last fed, and a couple of them are probably looking a little tough, a little bit in your direction. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Oh, and by the way, there's a thunderstorm outside that evening. Crack-a-boom as it rumbles through. Is Bright just running away, or what is the intention for Bright?
Okay, so first of all, I'm really surprised that the police officer got burned up. That I really didn't expect. But now that we've established that, secondly, no, she's not just running away. She needs to, what she's going to do is so, yes and no.
And can I PM something to you, Matty, before a proper response is? So this way,
Yep, you can PM me whatever.
yeah, because there's an action I'd like to take, but it's not. I don't want it to affect.
Sure.
Yeah, Fluffy's decision.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay, so as soon as Bright gets outside, she's going back to Temple of Ouijas,
Okay.
but she's not going there directly. First, she wants to find a. She needs to find a. She's going back to the abandoned district, okay? And she's looking for. Well, first she wants to find those mice. She wants to just give them the oats and tell them she'll come back and talk to them later when she has a chance. Second, she needs to get out of town, and she's going to bury her spellbook and all of her important things while she's out of town. She's just going to find a place out in the middle of nowhere, and she's going to mark it under a tree or something like that, and bury all of her things, and then she's going to come back and she's going to visit the Temple of Ouijas.
Okay.
And she might spend the night outside of town because she is looking for an opportunity to alter her spell list before everything ends. But she's also going to do two more things. On the way out of town, she's going to cast Magic Aura and change her aura to look like a tiefling girl. Nice.
Okay.
And then to cast the Magic Aura this is her last day of Magic Aura, where she won't be identified as a vampire anymore. So she's going to have to cast that one more time to finish that off. Probably spend the night outside of town, and then she's going to come back in and try to sneak into the Temple of Ouijas.
Okay.
So she has a lot of things planned,
Yes.
and I don't know how much of them you want to resolve now, off stream, or next week.
All right. As you wouldn't have been hauled in with a gnome-sized bag of oats, but you're returning back to where this had happened.
Yeah, so we kind of lost track of the bag of oats while all this was going on.
When you return, the burlap sack is all but empty. However, there is a lump inside the burlap sack.
Okay? And what's the lump?
The lump is a very shiny lantern.
Hmm.
But all the oats have been taken. Well, most of them.
I don't care about the oats anymore. I want to see the lantern.
Okay. It looks like a old, very shiny and polished, functional bullseye lantern.
Okay. So I want to find an out-of-the-way place.
There's no part in it though for oil.
It's okay. I want to find an out-of-the-way place.
Okay.
Someplace in a little disused warehouse or an alley, and I still look like a bedraggled tiefling girl. So
Roll stealth while you're doing this.
yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Ooh, all right. Yeah, you
25.
So hey, tieflings are here, kind of shuffled along. You're kind of moving amongst them and sticking the low to the ground, and you look like the little tiefling girl. So yeah, you go out there. You find that it's pretty much an empty sack. You find this and you slink off, and it doesn't seem like anyone. If anyone noticed you, no one's saying anything. But you managed to leave.
So finding an out-of-the-way place, I want to clamp. It's gonna take 11 minutes because I'm gonna need a ritual.
Okay, I mean you're tucked away.
So that's what I do.
As you are doing just that, one moment. And I gotta find my note. You figured I would have put it in a place that I'd remember it. Ah, there we go. Control F to the rescue. As you are tucked away and you're holding on to this lantern, you hear a little scrabbling next to you. Maybe it's the mice again.
Yeah, I'll look at the scrabbling.
And you see peeking out of the shadows a small silver-scaled worm. It's that thing again.
Yeah.
And it says something to you in Draconic.
I say, look. To mean the lamp.
It recedes back into darkness like it didn't exist.
I can, at some point.
You do what? I'm sorry, the audio cut out.
Well, I want to finish the identify so I can figure out how to operate this lamp.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get it lit.
The identify doesn't reveal anything that is like a property that is associated with this lantern or this lamp.
But it has no.
Correct. There's no oil. There's no place that is an obvious location for oil to be.
Does it, can you tell me about it? Have any knobs or anything that looks like it?
It does have some swirling etching into the base, perhaps where the oil would be. Is maybe draconic in appearance. It'd be almost like a cursive form. that is etched in. It looks very beautiful. Otherwise, it would just seem like a fancy engraving. Though to a mind like yours, you're seeing a pattern emerge in the writing.
Well, it sure is a good time to use this.
Greater comprehension. Oh yeah, as a diviner, you can read any language. Wow. All right. So apparently, kind of Jade rubbed off on you a little bit here. Jade did it first.
Yeah. Jade did it first.
Okay, and so written. Written in this flowing script, reads the following: I weaken all men for hours each day. I show you strange visions while you are away. I take you by night, by day take you back. None suffer to have me, but do from my lack.
Can you say that again?
I certainly can.
I'll write it down this time. Didn't expect riddles. I guess I should have expected riddles.
I weaken all men for hours each day. I show you strange visions while you are away. I take you by night, by day take you back. None suffer to have me, comma, but do from my lack.
Do from... Oh, right. Okay. That was the last line I didn't understand. Okay, so that's sleep. So that's pretty straightforward riddle. But of course I don't know how to say it in Draconic. Now we know. So that's the next clue in the puzzle.
We's an extremely plural word. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
across the city...
Royal we.
I'm doing the most normal.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a room full of chattering skulls and a lady who's probably just a little bit unhinged because anyone who worships someone like Ouijas is just that little bit unhinged.
Oh,
They serve a great tea, though.
Okay, so once all that's done, I'm on my way out of the city.
Okay. You go outside the city, rumble, rumble above, as it seems like a thunderstorm is coming in. And you are going to bury your effects. And
Yeah, I'm gonna do some other things first. We can resolve those off stream, but
Sure.
we don't have to. Basically, I just need to do a lot of utility stuff. I need a short rest, cast a bunch of minor spells, and juggle plates.
and
literally.
This is before you want to go and visit the Temple of Ouijas?
I want to go back, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now I know you don't have Gathering of Nerds lethality, but I might have to wrap stuff up in a little bit here so I can sit down and
consider the future, or lack thereof.
No, that's fair enough.
But no, so stick with me here. So I guess what we're gonna do, because Selene is sitting at a desk in an ossuary having a pleasant and revealing conversation with a source of knowledge, and
I mean, I might ask to
What?
send for the others in my in that conversation. So
you can ask, but it won't be entertained.
I'm
yeah,
just.
that.
I don't understand why it is that I can play a criminal, a person who's mentally unwell, who wants to take people's eyelids. No problems. I can't get 4 sessions by playing a law-abiding citizen without being forced to manacle my own party.
Sorry,
Oh,
recasts.
And
Those
I
are just
couldn't
me
get
filling
over
with the
this
thing.
portion.
Are you
I
sure that's
just
not an
took a look
evil,
at the
villainous
bruise.
laugh that
It's
escapes you,
bruising.
Bright? On
Okay.
the edge of town, there's a howl from a gnome.
Oh, I'm just not able to operate my web browser. That's all.
Okay.
Not
So
able to operate in lawful society, you mean?
that have the welts gone down? Is it just a bruise now?
That's all bruising.
Okay.
No.
Loudy. So investigator Jacob Stillwaters, after the events of the night, and your side message and all, I mean, you're not being detained, and neither is your guest. What are you doing for lodging? As I mean, you don't have a home here, neither does she.
Obviously, I would like to end up having a place to end up staying, but I imagine trying to get a room at a tavern is out of the question, given how many people have just lost their homes, and they're probably a little overbooked right now.
Not necessarily. The area that exploded, it did affect some homes, yes, but the area that exploded was kind of the abandoned quarter. And so there were buildings, but none of them would have been proper homes, and the people who are living there weren't exactly capable of really renting anything themselves. So there are people who are dispossessed because the shockwave, again, like knocked over some candles or a couple lamps. So there were some traditional fires that did need to be put out. But no, in fact, because people fled the city, there's actually openings. Like, places are looking for people.
Then, yeah, we will most certainly grab a room.
Okay. So you walk in, and your authority is recognized, and you'll be given a thankful discount for staying in there, in the room that you will be. And so we're gonna put you. We're gonna put you inside. It's a rather well appointed area. It does have a nice canopy bed. There's a table and a thinking seat. There's even a fireplace in this room. Since they want to treat you well because you are law enforcement, not necessarily maybe that you asked for it per se. You're not trying to milk your station, but they're giving you a good deal for a room like this. And so you are, the rain starts pattering down outside, which you can even hear in the soundtrack here. There's a crack-a-boom of thunder. You can get a fire going if you wish, and here's a place that you can rest.
This is going to be an unfortunate series of events. Well,
I mean, that's one way of putting it.
I end up taking the time to thank the staff and get to my own chambers. I'm making a point to try and end up covering the windows and trying to make this as light tight as possible.
Okay.
I will sleep on the couch.
Sure.
Offer Miss Crumb the bed at this point.
I don't really need that. I'll take it, but I don't really ever need to sleep. I just kind of wait.
Need and want are two different things.
I just don't have the capability.
Rest. Do as thou wilt. And if I'm dead in the morning, then it won't be my problem, now will it?
That'd be mine. So don't be a selfish bastard and die.
You heard the lady.
Good night.
Okay. So you you curl up on the couch that's in this. It's a nicer suite, not a multi-room or anything, but it's nice for an in-room here. You know, a little closet to store your things and such. And so we are now going to cut over to Mordecai, who is in a jail cell with a bunch of other rough and tumble people who've been brought in. Maybe some of them were here even before the explosion. Others could have been thrown in here. What are you doing as you hear the crack-a-boom of thunder and lightning outside?
I'm just finding myself a place to sit and going to kind of keep a watchful eye, but I'm not too concerned about the thunder and lightning outside. I'm concerned about where Bright went. I am not sure why it is that I'm being detained. I could easily get out of here. Easily. But I don't want to leave my stuff.
Aha, so that's the
It
anchor.
would be incredibly inconvenient to get to walk out into the night with nothing left of my possessions, and I've done that already once before. I'll wait this out. I'll see what happens.
Wasn't the most
Okay.
At least I'm clothed this time.
Yeah. So, the inevitable question comes up, Mordecai, and we'll say that there is a rather burly tiefling. There's not too many that are in this. We'll say that there's about 10 people in here, including you, and you and two others are tieflings. One of them walks up to you, has very orange skin. Like, and when I say that, I mean like scissors handle orange.
Mm.
And you get asked the eternal question of, "What are you in for?"
Wouldn't you like to know?
That's why I asked, "What are you in for?" In Infernal. And the other two tieflings, like, everyone's looking, but the other two tieflings kind of like have their heads like kind of cocked to the side to wait for the answer.
I've always assumed that question's impolite.
He's looking around this communal holding cell. You know, when you assume, you make an ass out of yourself. Now, it's important for me and the others to know what you're in here for.
Nothing of consequence.
Oh, walking down the street and you just got pulled in the middle of a disaster?
Exactly.
Huh. He's innocent. You hear that? Did nothing more than walk down the street. No, that's in common, obviously. And the others are like, you get like a boo hiss. Like, you're full of BS. What are you, ashamed? You ashamed to tell a bunch of people who also did nothing to get in here?
If you all did nothing, then I've done nothing.
And the one person is just sort of like, ugh. I was drunk in the bar. They threw me into public. As he's like leaning up against the wall. Ooh.
As I said, nothing of consequence.
Hey, you one of those, huh? Fine. I think you can relegate yourself to that corner over there.
Works for me.
And the one drunk person is kind of over there like, oh, and is rambling in common, but it's drunken. It's the drunken vernacular of such. And he said, "Oh, I gotta go." And the orange skinned tiefling looks to the others as the drunkard kind of like gets up and starts kind of wobbling over towards a bucket in one corner of the room here. And just with a look and a whistle, the other people in the holding cell all stand up together. Mordecai, what are you doing?
I'm observing.
Okay.
As we've assumed that I've been in holding cells a couple of times, do I know what this is supposed to mean?
I want you to make a just an intelligence roll.
Straight
Yep,
intelligence.
just
This
an
is gonna go
intelligence
well.
check.
Oh, that's
Look
a
at that.
natural 20.
That is. Look at that green
Okay.
23.
Such green. Look.
Mordecai, as the one guy said that he had to go and everyone else is standing up, it appears that the drunkard is going to go pop a squat over the bucket in the corner, and the others are standing up to make a wall around him so that any of the jailers on the outside or anyone else walking through can't see him do his business in the bucket. Because it's basic politeness.
I'll do the same. Not really get close to anybody, but
You're going to have to if you're standing in the circle. Well, the semicircle.
I'll at least give the guy dignity and face outside.
Well, everyone else is.
Just do that.
All right, you start walking over, and a gap opens up between the orange-skinned tiefling and the person who's standing next to him. Ah, coming to join us. Ah, seems like you might have, you might know what's going on. You can stand right here next to me.
Sure.
And so the drunkard is doing his business in the bucket in the corner, and everyone respectfully has their backs to him and is facing out forward. Now, while you're here, because you apparently have been in here before, else you wouldn't have known what to do. I've encountered a lot of those kinds before. Why are you here? And of course, there's an occasional rude noise that's accenting this conversation.
Oh, that's gonna be.
As I said, nothing of consequence. Walking down the road, happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Fine, have it your way. From behind, you're like, I don't remember eating that. Oh, and your night will fade to brown, and we are going to go to Selene. The candles are burning low. You've been spending a very rainy evening in a very pleasant area. The skulls of the dead are chattering around you, apparently having conversations. You are served tea and snacks as you will, in the company of someone who's not offended by your mere presence. It's a pretty good night for you.
Yeah. All things considered, although I have no idea what's happened to Bright and Mordecai.
Everything's
Luckily,
coming up Millhouse.
Luckily, Kazimir's just here and not anywhere else.
Yeah,
so at the very least, I know that he's okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll say because it's raining, Kazimir doesn't really have a place to go, and I don't want to speak too much for Dark Wolf, but we'll say that she decides Kazimir will take up the accommodations for is sort of extended pay for the services rendered. And so what I'm going to do then before we end the session is Selene, as you are in this company, you are with someone who has been investigating the fire and probably knows more, or at least has clues about things. Of course, you also have someone who's very steeped in religious lore, seems to, took your story with stride and like, no, that makes sense. It's been very difficult to phase or shock her. Anyway, with this whole setup and the fact you're not under any kind of duress or pressure in any way, you may ask the DM 3 questions, and I will reasonably answer them for you, if I can.
Okay. because I know I'm probably not going to get the chance to investigate the tower myself, as Mordecai's in jail, Brad's on the run, Jacob is doing his job, and
You don't know that, though. So roleplay, you got to roleplay like the gang's going to get back together any moment, or whatever was going on before.
Let me think. Does the tower and anything that came with it exude any kind of extraplanar? And if so, what?
Yes. It is an energy not from this place. It's something... It's something other. It's odd. Our theories are suggesting that it comes from a place far in our past. Especially when I say our, those of us from Mesomasca, and even in more particular fashion, those of Tiefling descent. The different people have grown up under different circumstances, arguably have adapted as such. And, there is a theory among Tieflings who, of course, make up many of our even founding, and she, oh, actually, I should go to the ossuary. She sweeps her hand, and a couple of the Tiefling skulls chatter, sort of in recognition as such. And we believe this is somehow linked to perhaps the first Tiefling, or rather, how they began. I don't want to go so far as to call this entity a god or a goddess like Our Lady, though a powerful individual, someone steeped in magic who, in a sense, like Our Lady, can bestow gifts upon others that he deems worthy. Though a manifestation like this is odd. There's been nothing like this that any of us have known about.
Well, with that says to me two things. This is on the same lines as the same question that me asking you a question.
This progenitor must have sealed himself away or is elsewhere, and this is perhaps a leaking of it back.
Tell me, what do you know of planar cosmology?
Selene. Is that your second question?
I'll make it my second question.
Thank you. Come again.
I'll make it my second question because I think I might find that interesting.
Sure. She goes over the basics with you. Things not that like any commoner on the street knows, but for someone who is, who has come up in the ranks, it's probably not her field of study, like
specialization.
It's not her specialization, but she knows that there are realms that exist outside of our own. That we consider ours, or I guess in D&D terms, the prime material plane. That there are overlays that could be attributed to magical disruptions. There are concepts that, especially now, that these Fae are coming from some place kind of phased out of existence that perhaps overlays the prime material, and that these undead, that these cursed undead are doing the same from whatever kind of overlay space that they were put into as well. And so you're getting, I mean, you're getting DMG Cosmology 101.
Yeah, because Selene will actually note that down in her book, because whilst she is quite knowledgeable on what we are like, whilst Selene is quite knowledgeable on outer plane cosmology, inner plane cosmology and the cosmology of the echoes and how they work is something that is very much unknown to her. But that's something that she's going to she is like, oh really, that makes sense.
So with this, because I mean, she tells you what she knows, but she does admit that it is not a strong field of study, but she can recommend you to another in this ossuary who has made it his specialization. And so you can get a recommendation that when there's a moment to not have the crushing need to serve all the people who've been flooding in, that perhaps you could be recommended to talk with this person to find out more. And do you have a third question for your DM then that I will either answer or pass you off for future research in downtime?
Question. Why now, of all times? With all of the other events that have seemed to have happened over the past little while, why now of all time would something like this choose to appear?
Very good. My dear Selene, I believe that history is attempting to not repeat itself, but to go back. It is almost as if forces are in play that are causing us to slide back through the eras we've undergone to reach the point that we have. And to no small effect, you yourself may be a manifestation of that. But look around you and contemplate. We have mythical figures of yore, things that existed but no longer. The dragons and the great dragon graveyard. If you're having small talk, I presume you mentioned that you spent like a pilgrimage there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And yet, what of they? The Dragonborn to the north have always been pretentious and full of themselves in a competition with the strong half-orcs and others, and yet they seem to grow bolder and brasher. There's reports of strange activity that isn't cleanly falling under the influence of these Fae or undead that are emerging from the depths somewhere. And I have it on good report that there have been shadows of giants, seemingly not a shadow in the undead sense, but displaced, that are continuing to try and leak back into this world. I hope, well, if you mention giant, I don't know, would you mention giants, or are you going to act like this is new information to you?
Selene will kind of frown at that, and she's like, well then, I have something to show you.
Oh.
And she's gonna pull out the Hessian sack that has the Fomorian eye in it.
You know I keep this handy at all times. Just so I can do this, right? It is always by my monitor, because who knows? Selene, may I?
And she hands it over.
One moment. One moment. Loading content. Loading content. Unfortunately, my brain isn't solid state. It's only a semi-solid. That is...
I'm gonna let the cat in.
Elf. Durgar. Try. Nope, I gotta go forward. Here we go. Are they?
Yeah.
Are they not? Oh, I wonder if they're under F for Fomorian. I forgot where I looked up. I was looking in Giant, but maybe they're their own thing. E, F, G. Gorgon. Flesh Golem. So I gotta go back just a little bit here. So those are Giants. Ghosts. No, it's not under F for that. Well, where'd they go? Anyway, well, so she's gonna gaze into the eye. It may not even be. It may not even be a big deal here. Or it may. All right. So, as she gazes into the Fomorian eye that you hand to her, I'm gonna have to go find out what happens. As we're having a revelation here, but what I will say before we get to this point is, she is indicating that as far as she is aware, the time is trying to go back and reassert itself, and powerful forces are awakening all around. And oh, hey, Dorak the Merciless.
Nerds.
with nerds. Dorak, it has been a minute. It's good to see you back. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you caught us when you did. Also, Mr. Wolfie's here too. Howdy, Mr. Wolfie.
If you're looking for it, it's 136.
Oh, all right. I'm close. I'm on 1, 2, 3. One. Hey, there. Oh, there's that gnarly looking Fomorian here. Okay. And so as she gazes into the Fomorian eye, you can see like her brow. She's actually showing emotion now. Not that she hasn't been emotive again, but she's just sort of kept that neutral face. And her eyebrows lift in revelation, and not necessarily in horror or pain, but you see that she begins to change, and she starts taking on the appearance of the Fomorians themselves. And she's kind of like growing and bubbling and whatnot behind the desk, and kind of becoming misshapen, as she's still holding the eye and contemplating it in her hand. I see.
Selene is just gonna cover that back up with the Hessian sack, like,
Knowledge will be added. I thank you for sharing it. Yes. You have tried to reach out. She's saying kind of a gravelly voice as her vocal cords have kind of like bubbled and distended in a Fomorian kind of misshapen way.
Selene is gonna call for one of the other clerics.
No. Holds out a misshapen hand, and she sees her hand's misshapen. No need. And she stares back into it. No need. The eye has revealed more to me. And perhaps And so, as she's clutching the eye, misshapen in a Fomorian form, and apparently infused with information that it was offering, this rather stern, well, not stern face, but this rather take it in stride headmistress, this revealer of the Ouija's ossuary here in Mask of Horns, might offer you some more. However, to finalize things before I do a fade to black for the session, whatever Bright is doing, and if you're still with us, Fluffy Sheep, just either a yes or no or a quick answer, even in text, if you're listening.
I'm still here.
Oh, okay, all right. Are you returning to the ossuary in your tiefling? Are you like, I need to see? Like, are you bursting in and making a demand, or with what you're doing?
Probably not going to be there until tomorrow.
Okay, sure.
Because I need to spend the night out in the woods, let things cool off a little, recharge some spell slots, rearrange the stuff that I know how to cast, and figure out if I can come up with a backup arcane focus.
Okay. All right. So then what we will do, Selene, as with another crack-a-boom of thunder, and the winds and rains are howling outside. This is definitely a springtime squall here on this coastal city. Apparently the Fomorians have had something to say to one who would listen, and that information and the fates of others will be determined next Tuesday.
We're
all in trouble.
after that little conversation ends, I think I'm gonna go to the nearest cleric outside the door, like the nearest person outside the door, and be like, "You should get some clerics to tend to her."
Okay,
that's not good.
We'll get to that as you're standing in a Fomorian and priest's clothing here. So thus concludes. I got a little bit of extra bonus time, so it was fun playing a little extended here. Thus concludes this Tuesday session of the D's and D's. I want to thank all of you. As
we did start a little bit late.
Yeah. As my players especially, for another good session. While things are certainly in an odd predicament, I'm happy and I'm having fun, and I kind of love, in a sense, the challenge that I've been put into by the circumstances that have occurred. Arguably, it's easier.
Sorry for derailing. It's my turn to derail today.
All aboard the fiery wreck.
No, he dropped off, Dorak. I don't know where he went, but he didn't die. He just disconnected.
He might have had to go to bed or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, we're wrapping stuff up anyway. So, well, thank you all again for another great Tuesday, and of course, I look forward to more. In fact,
we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, as I don't even know right now, so I'm invested in this too.
It could either be we all come out super stronger because of this, or we get yeah. That's, I suppose that's really the only way that you could put it.
We'll find out.
Yep. All right. Bye.